Hi everybody, this is going to be one of my first videos I throw up on YouTube. On occasion I like to blacksmith on my free time, and I don't have tons of time to do it, right? So I kind of do it in increments, but one thing I'm going to try to do today that I've been meaning to try to do, I have this 5160 square stock I cut from a big leaf spring off a semi truck. What I want to try to do today is use my forge to heat it up, right? It's running in there, kind of sputtering, but it's running. I'm going to heat it up and see if I can't stick it in this part of this anvil, put a twist on the bottom half of it, and then the other half I'm going to draw out into a blade, see what happens. So I guess for now we're just going to chuck it in there and then we wait. Super fun. I think I'm going to do this side, I want to say. Either way it fits, but we'll see what will work better. I don't know. We'll just see what happens. Yeah. Throw this side in there. Don't do this at home. I just did that with my bare hand. That's not really the smartest thing to do. But anyway, yeah, now we wait. I'll give you a little introduction to myself, I guess. I went to school for welding and metal fabrication, and I didn't really do a whole lot with it. I kind of stayed with the job I had while going to school. And one thing I did pick up from the course was blacksmithing. So you learn a little bit of metallurgy, you learn a little bit of smithing here and there, and just for the fun. I think the teachers just wanted to give us a wide range of skills. And sometimes those skills take experimental processes. This thing's really sputtering. And it's kind of stormy out, which affects my forge a little bit. Specifically wind. But I guess we'll see what happens. How that works. It's a little bug here. I'll get a little. There's a box elder bug that was. Oh, he's gone now, but he was on that burner and absolutely so. Anyway, yeah. Now we wait. Now the trick is to getting that square stock like 2,000 degrees. You want it glowing red hot, because otherwise you're not going to be able to move it. Right? The hotter the better when it comes to forging stuff. So now we continue to wait. The other part you want to make sure you have is an anvil that's pretty fairly anchored down, right? Because you're going to use the anvil to twist it. And if the anvil is only, like this one, 80 pounds, you're going to want it to not move on you when you go to put a twist in that stock. This little propane, forge, they don't do the best. If I were to recommend anything for most people, it's to use an induction forge. So it costs a lot less. It takes a little bit more elbow grease to build, but with an induction forge, you're going to get a lot more heat. You're going to be able to heat larger pieces of steel a lot more evenly, better heat on them. But I guess that's why it's trial and error, right? And I'm over here putting on my gloves. You always want to make sure you wear PPE. I should be one to talk with no safety glasses on, shorts, and Nikes. It looks pretty glowing red, so we're going to give it a shot. Maybe not. Maybe not. I'm gonna need a wrench. Let's try that again. I can do that. Oh, Jesus. Not even close enough. Might not be a big enough size stock to work with, but I'm still gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna let that run for a little while longer. gonna see what happens. Not an easy task. Oh, and it likes to slip out on you, which is kind of sketchy, but we got somewhat of a twist in there. It's kind of cool. Yeah, that's what we were looking for. Whew. And there's so much heat coming off of there, and it's a lot of force. Makes you sweat. Look at that, coming off my nose. Whew. So it's kind of a challenge because you gotta, like I said, get it really, really cherry red hot. I'm gonna see if I can't put one more twist in it, and then we'll probably call it. Because this is the first time I ever did this, and the idea is just have a nice, pretty, twisted integral handle, so I can draw out the rest of the blade, and when it's all done, it just gives it like a little artsy flair to it. So it's not just a piece of metal, you know, it's got a little bit more personality to it. So anyway, yeah, we'll give it a shot. Bright red. I might have rounded it out a little too much, but there it goes. A little bit. I mean, that's kind of cool. I might just call it that. Honestly, I kind of like it. I don't know if I can get much more of a twist in it without continuing to round it out. I don't know. Let's put it back in there and see what happens. Ugh. Yeah, that's the thing about doing these kind of fun little blacksmithing hobbies is it takes patience and, like I said, a lot of trial and error. I just cut this out of a piece of leaf spring and figured I'd wing it. So the idea eventually is I want to do a big integral blade katana made from 5160 with a twist for a handle, just because I think it would make a really cool piece. Anyway, yeah, let's see what happens. All right, we're just about at another point of glowing hot, and as you can see, there's a twist in there, just not a full 360 degrees, which is okay. Just kind of winging it. But ideally, I'd like to have a full rotation. That would be kind of, you know, the goal, I guess. We're gonna give it one more good shot. Throw a little smoke up, that's alright. Just burns off the grass, you know. Just gotta make sure you don't start a fire. I think it's kind of cool that you guys get to see the learning process, right? Because I'm learning too. And that's where errors happen. Errors make for cool things. I'm gonna let it burn that off for a second. Maybe I'll see if I can't wedge the actual twist in there to get another spin around. But for a reference, I live on the green belt, so I get a lot of goofballs walking up and down it, yelling and screaming. Well, yeah, let's see what happens. I want to point out also, when when you start to see, I mean, that could very well be grass burning off of there, but when you start to see a little bit of scale coming off the metal, that's how you know you're at about 1700 degrees. Right, so if you're ever trying to do heat treating and you don't have like a heat treat oven, you can just use a forge, and you get that metal up to a point where you see it start to scale off. Right, when you see it start to scale off is a good point to throw it in some oil for a quick quench, because that will definitely be a great point for hardening, with most steel at least. 5160, it's kind of iffy, but for sure if you're doing like 1084, 1095, right when you see it start to scale, that's how you know it's like perfectly ready to quench, to harden. Alright, I'm going to try this one last time. If it doesn't work, I think I'll just call it good, and then let it cool off for a later time in the weekend, or maybe next weekend I could bring it out, see if I can hammer it straight, and then I'll try to draw out the blade, which takes a couple hours. Maybe I'll make a video about that too, but for now, I guess we'll just take it one step at a time. Nice glowing red, that's what you want. There we go. Yeah, I think I rounded it too far. Which is alright. See if I can get one shot. Yeah, see, it's just rounded. Yeah, that's okay. I didn't quite make this as large as I should have, but nonetheless, I got a twist, and that's what I was hoping for, was a cool twist. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this cool off. And like I said, this is the first time for me ever getting a twist in steel like this. I'm gonna let it cool off, and then I'm gonna heat this side up and see how far I can draw it out. But we'll save that for another time, yeah, because being someone who works full time, trying to start this, trying to do these little projects, you gotta take it one day at a time, because you know, it's a balance. But anyway, yeah, thank you guys for watching my video, and please share and subscribe if you'd like, to see the rest of the journey, because I think I'm going to do a video on drawing this out on the anvil. You guys stay cool and have a good rest of your week. Bye-bye.